Hey y'all, I'm back. I'm back for us to have a conversation about Love Island, the USA. Honey, Casa Amor, a piece of Casa Amor edition. We have to talk about it. So make sure that you're coming into the video, you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. All right. Shout out to all of the people that have already subscribed to the channel. Y'all helped me get to 95,000. We're on our way to 96,000. So if you constantly watch the content, but you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so because you keep coming back. Like, why not get a notification and all that other good stuff? Okay. So, thank you for your services. All right. I want us to talk about this episode, and I'm probably going to disappoint a few people. So please forgive me in advance. But I have to say that it is giving yet another underwhelming episode for me. I am not necessarily feeling this Olandria thing like I was once feeling originally. At first, I was seeing the Chelley and the Nick situation. And then I started seeing people talk about the Nick and the Olandria. I was kind of feeling it then. But at this point, I am over it. I don't see a connection. I can see them continuing to remain in a couple in an effort to save each other until the very end. In my opinion, if they possibly can do that. And yeah, I feel like I'm still where I've been for the past few days where I felt like I'm over this cast. I don't really like the cast, but I still like the show, and I'm hoping that a turning point comes. There's a shift where I'm back in how I was in the beginning, but I'm gonna continue to watch it and I'm gonna continue to talk about it with you guys because that's just how it is, right? But we're gonna get into the episode and chat about a few things because it's not looking good. First of all, the OGs are still grieving Olandria and Nick. Okay, that's on both sides. OGs in Casa, OGs in the villa. They're still upset about him and her having to leave, not really knowing what's going on. Let me just keep going. We'll get to the portion. Okay. So Ace is remembering the good times that he had with Nick. And then Taylor says that Nick is like his best friend for life. And then Ace says, we speaking on Nick like he dead. Okay. He said, I'm over here thinking about how I'm finna tell Sierra. So Ace can't understand how a woman couldn't stand up for Nick. Now, just because Nick is your end all be all love and you may think so highly of him as your boo, everybody don't see Nick like that. Everybody don't see Nick as an option for them. For real, for real. I mean, yeah, he was once an option, but she also was able to pick. She chose Austin over Nick. Yeah, I mean, Austin, maybe Nick probably was a better fit for Jaden, but she chose Austin. I mean, really, it's like choose your evil. Who cares, right? Anywho, so Austin is really happy that she did choose him and says that he hasn't been coupled up with someone that he was really interested in getting to know. And I said, oh, really? So you haven't been coupled up with anyone that you were really interested in getting to know the way that you was over here crying every day over what Shelly and Ace were doing, over you wanting a stronger connection with Shelly. So she wasn't a person that you were really interested in getting to know. She definitely was, considering the fact that nobody stepped on your platform aside from Shelly to kiss your ass on the very first night. But anywho, let's keep going. All right. So Amaya talks with Zach, and Amaya talks about how much she loves Olandria and talked about her being, about her going to Olandria for everything. Okay. Olandria was that girl when she was around the OGs. So Zach says that he apologizes for sending her home, but he had to make the decision for him. And if he didn't stand up, then Amaya would have been the one going home. And I feel like the way in which he said it to her, and it's just how I feel about it, I felt like it came off to me like, dry your tears. You should be glad I did what I did because if not, you wouldn't even be here. Like, that's kind of the vibe that it was giving to me just a little bit. But can I also ask this question? Love Island producers, I feel like you guys are losing it and it's losing this season. I don't know if you all are interested in just having the views or something like that. But I feel like it may be slipping. Okay. After the Jeremiah stuff happened, I feel like it may be slipping a little bit. Now, y'all may still get some good views and stuff, but I don't know. It's just like I understand you guys wanted to change up the formula for things to not be so predictable as they have been in past seasons, and I understand that we will have to adjust to some things, but I don't ever want to adjust to influencers being a part of the show. I don't ever want to adjust to the fact that somebody was a reality star on another platform and then you're bringing them over here. Play that in Love Island USA games potentially, but not over here. Okay, because what I'm learning is the people are saying that Zach was a part of Big Brother, and I'm like, why the fuck is he over here? Okay, now granted, I'm sure there was some other slip ups or whatever in the past, but I feel like I really like it better when it's people that we don't know, right? And getting to see their raw, genuine selves, okay, in raw form, never been on TV before, doesn't know how this reality camera works. I feel like that's when you get your best TV out of people. I think that's what made things so good with Serena and that last cast, right? They're not used to this reality stuff. They're just giving us their raw emotions, you know. Then this year, because I feel like you guys pick people with a following or whatever the case was, i.e., Ace, you get people like him that comes into the villa and they trying to play all these, do all these tricks and turns and games and playing the game and not even really playing the game for real. Because the game and the goal is for y'all to actually find love. Yes, explore people, but when you find your person, even if that's 3 weeks in and you're cool with that, then lock in with each other. But the temptation is still going to come. Yeah, you could get to know other people, but lock in is something. Now, granted, Jeremiah, to me, Jeremiah and Huda was doing that a little too soon, too early. But like the way I don't really like how it's flowing. I'm not liking how it's flowing. And I feel like the producers didn't either. They saw something was off, so they decided to send Nick and Olandria right back into the game. And like I told you guys before, I truly wholeheartedly believe that Olandria is America's favorite. Because whenever they're doing like in the app any ratings on women, Olandria is always at the top. So she's definitely America's fave. And then for me, I don't always see Nick at the top. It's always a variety of different guys at the top. So for me, I'm like, yeah, that's the producer's pick. Y'all just didn't want those two individuals to go home. But I guarantee you, if it would have been Austin and maybe Amaya ended up going home, they wouldn't have spun this block situation and had those two come back into the villa. It would have been sayonara because y'all literally told TJ and Amaya, listen, right? Or even if it was TJ and Amaya, if it was anybody else going home that wasn't like an OG, y'all would not have pulled this thing. Well, let me not say that because Austin was an OG. However, he's bland. He's bland. Okay, so I don't think that was anyway, child. They will be going home because y'all sure told those people get ready because if not, you're gonna get dumped from the island, right? But once y'all saw who the final individuals were, y'all just told them to pack their stuff and leave. But anywho, let's keep going. All I'm saying is y'all need to get it together. All right. So Nick and Olandria, they're going on a date. Okay. They hopped in the truck. Of course, they're going on a date, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So they're really happy to see each other. You know, she gives him the updates on Casa, how Chelley was super popular because she had like two guys standing up there waiting to get to know her. Then she also talks about Sierra and Elon and how, you know, it's kind of giving curly head vibes, right? He reminds me of you type thing. So she gave him the spiel on that situation. Like him and Sierra are clicking so well together that it seems like they could be a power couple. So you know Nick is a little like, dang, that's messed up because she went over there and found somebody, and I really didn't find anybody over there in the villa with me. They also talked about how it sucked, you know, leaving the villa and not being able to say goodbye to the person that you were once coupled up with. Right, which is what I started to think when they were saying somebody get eliminated. I'm like, what if the person they eliminate has a stronger connection back in the villa? They're just gonna be gone. They're not even gonna be able to say goodbye. But I slick didn't care. So Nick tells her that Coco chose Taylor. Coco and Clark chose Taylor, but he ended up going with Coco. And then after that, Coco, I think, left Taylor, got with Ace, and then Clark, who was once Nick's partner, ended up getting with Taylor. All right. So he says that he feels like Taylor feels an emotional and physical connection to Clark. So Olandria is taking all this information in. Nick also lets her know, you know, with you, Taylor was a slow burn, but it seems like it really could be something with him and Clark, though. So Olandria over there going off. She going off about how she's been Team Taylor since day effing one. And if you can allow someone to come in and if they can take my man from me, then he was never my man. And she's okay with leaving the villa with a smile on her face. And I said, Olandria, he really was never yours. You are so smart and so intelligent that you are not reading in between the lines of a person's body language to know that they're just not that into you. And that is what I wholeheartedly believe, unless he shows me something different. And I do not think he will be showing me anything different. Okay. I can see Sierra sticking with Elon, and I also can see Nick sticking with Olandria for the safeness of the game, right? And so when Casa Amor is over and people choose their people, I see them continuing to lock in, and hopefully they send a bombshell in that is enough for Miss Olandria. If not, we're only saving Olandria for a few days or a week at most, and then she gonna end up going home because she ain't got no connection. So who else would she be making a connection with, right? So I don't know how that's gonna go. But Taylor and Clark. So he touches her leg while they're over there talking and speak easy. Child. I'm like, Taylor is so comfortable with this girl. It's a 1000% difference between him and Olandria. And it's crazy because they kind of do look good together. And it sucks for my girl Olandria. So it's like if he making a better connection with her, it's like, so I don't care. Like, yeah, go on. Neither one of y'all went in the show. So yeah, I hope y'all there for love. But then at the same time, it's like, dang, I kind of don't want my girl Olandria to be played out. I want her to just be happy at the end of the day. I don't want her with Taylor, but I also don't want her out the villa. So what can we do? Right? But anywho, so he's talking to Clark and he's touching her leg and telling her thank you for picking me or whatever. He's giving her strong eye contact. He couldn't even look Olandria in her eyes. But he looked Clark dead in her eyes, okay, giving her straight eye contact. Taylor asked her what type of sleeper is she. She said she's down for a little cuddle session, whatever. So he leans in, y'all, to hug her. And then I knew he wanted to kiss. I knew he wanted to kiss. So when he pulled back from her and he looked at her, he leans in and he kisses her. Child, I said, now keep in mind, it's not looking good for Olandria. One, when he got with Coco, yes, Coco is a very pretty girl, just like Olandria. All of the ladies are beautiful. But when he said that she's like an Olandria in a different body, it's something about her energy, in my personal, that I think requires more of him potentially. And that may not be what it is that he wants, which is why he ended up getting closer to Clark. But just off of the fact that he was cool with Coco going to stand next to Ace because he was more so interested in Clark. And I feel like he kind of mentioned that in his confessional that he was getting a better connection with her than Coco. To me, that's enough to also, or at least not enough, because we've seen enough from Taylor over the past few weeks. But that's just another confirmation that when it's all said and done, Olandria, you will be leaving this villa without Taylor. That's not the cowboy. You should have stuck with Jalen. You should have stuck with Jalen. But let me tell you something. Had she stuck with him, one or both of those ladies would have tried to been on him for sure. Now, and that would have been something to see for sure if she would have just stuck with Jalen, really took the time out to really get to know him, because he seemed like he may be a little slow burn as well. They could have potentially really, really connected, and I could see him getting to know other ladies, but I also could see just off of the small time that we saw Jalen, he would have drove right on back to Olandria because he didn't really open himself up to other ladies either. He was very clear on who he wanted, and that's the kind of guy that you want. That's the one that you didn't want, but that's the one that's probably gonna give you all of the things that you're seeking, love. The one that you don't want. Okay? So, or you didn't want. Okay, you didn't want him. But he was very clear about his interest for you. I feel like with Taylor, it wasn't clear. He wasn't attracted to you right out the gate. This man was right out the gate. It didn't waver. I'm here with it. So, I think she kind of messed up with that one. Anywho, so Nick and Olandria, while they're talking, they ended up getting a text. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on? What is going on? So they must couple up and return, or they can remain single and leave the island. And I was like, y'all, what is happening? And I said to myself, damn, they probably about to win the show. They just like, I really am not a stan of Nick at all. Don't like Nick for real. But they if they remain coupled up for the remaining portion of this show, they might potentially end up winning. I wouldn't mind giving my vote to Amaya if she actually found somebody that's really, really interested in her and is patient with her and all of that. So we'll just have to see how that's gonna play out. But anywho, these two are trying to figure out what decision they're gonna make. So he tells her that he has been wanting to get to know her, and she says she noticed something when he kept picking her for challenges to kiss her. Yeah, just like we noticed something when you kept picking Ace in challenges to kiss him, because you're attracted to Ace as well. So Coco, no, so yeah, so before they get back to the villa, they make a decision. She said it seems like it's only one decision for us to make or whatever. And that decision is for them to go back go back to the villa. Now, I don't know. One of my subbies was like, "Oh, I know you were screaming, Jamie," and I'm like, "Girl, is that a good or bad?" She was like, "I mean, good at least," and I'm like, "Not really. I don't really care for this connection between Nick and I just don't. I'm just not feeling them. I'm waiting for more excitement, and I hope I'm not the only person. And if I am, that's fine too. But I'm not shoulder shrug. You know, I feel like if it was another fave or somebody that I was yearning to see her with, then I would be excited. But it's hard to feel excited when I just feel like other people, when I'm reflecting back on someone else that could still be here, right? And how some folks should be gone. So out of all of the people that have left the villa that y'all chose to save, y'all chose to save Nick. Olandria isn't the thing. I love that Olandria was saved. It's more so Nick for me. It's like y'all saved Nick. Yeah, I feel like that's giving straight bias. I feel like that's a little unfair, just a bit. But they've done it before. I think they did it. And I actually forgot about this for a second. I think it was season 4. Yeah, it had to be season. No, season 5, because I think Bergie was on season 5. So we're on 7. Then it was Serena and Cordell, and then after that, yeah, I think that was when Bergie was on. I think it was season 5 or 4. I think it was 5 though. When Bergie was supposed to be kicked out, and then he popped up out of the hideaway, like, yeah, Bergie's still here, he's still around, or whatever the case is, and it was kind of cool for Bergie because he was like the odd man in a sense. But I'm like, yeah, like when I think about the fact that somebody was treated so terribly, and if the roles were reversed and he was the one being disrespectful as fuck to that woman, calling her out her name and stuff, y'all would have got him the hell up out the villa that night. And seeing how everybody in the entire world was so shook and shocked that y'all got that person out, but the other person gets to stay and enjoy their situation. If y'all could have saved somebody at that point. Y'all could have brought that person back. But instead, y'all chose to bring Nick back. Yeah, I'm not really feeling this. And I also feel like, and I'll get to that when we get to it. But anywho, so at some point, Coco tells Ace that she is understanding. She understands that this is really tough for him with Nick leaving the villa because he doesn't know Nick is returning, and she's here for him. And he's like, "Oh, thank you." She says, "You manage your emotions well," and she wasn't going to let him go out like that when she saw him standing up there, so she had to do some. So she wanted to be Captain Saver. So that's what she did. She saved the captain. And then Coco starts talking about how they're family, and I'm like, "Girl, you just got here. Family how?" Calm down. Because one thing you will know is that Ace will leave your ass standing at the drop of a dime. He's done it to Chelley on multiple times. So good luck, love. Anywho, so Elon and Sierra. So he goes to check on her because she was really emotional about Olandria leaving. And as she was talking about it, she almost cried again. And she says that it could have been any one of us, and it made her think about a lot of things. And then he tells her that she's handled things very maturely, and she says the way he comforted her spoke volumes. Can I also say, before let me just wrap them up real quick. So he says they connect intellectually, emotionally, but he also wants to see if there's a physical connection there as well. And she says, yeah, and I want that. She says she wants that physical type of touch, but when he gave her the opportunity for that, she wasn't open or interested in that at the time. And I do understand that, but do it on some Olandria type stuff. In my personal, to me, do it on some Olandria stuff where that's not who I am, versus, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to give Nick any animosity to come at me like da 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 da. Like, don't do it for Nick. In my personal, if you're gonna do it, make sure you do that for yourself. Like, yes, Olandria tried to say that hers was because of Taylor, but also she was a slow burn with Taylor because that's who she is. That's not who Sierra is. So I don't know. I feel like that's her still withholding herself from the process. But yeah, so yeah, it was something else that I was gonna say about this situation, but we'll just keep going. So Vanna and TJ. Vanna is happy to be coupled up with someone that she actually sees potential with, and TJ is emotional But he's happy that he's safe, okay, to stay in the villa yet another day. So bedtime come, and Taylor and Clark over there taking pictures for what we learned. Chris got Shelly some flowers as a way to comfort her, which was nice. Nick and Olandria snuck into bed in the villa. I did not like the way that they introduced them. Just like tiptoe back into the, get showered up, tiptoe back, be real quiet, lay down in the bed, and then in the morning time pop up like, hey y'all. Like, it was just such a whack entrance to me. Such a whack entrance. And let me also say this too. That's what I was gonna say. I do feel like it's a bit it's just so, to me, it's because I don't like Nick, y'all, and I'm not even gonna hide it. I'm just not a fan. And I feel like out of the connections, right? When I think about everybody in the villa that went to Casa Amor, and the people you have in Casa Amor, the only people that have like a long connection is, or and a stronger one, would be Nick and Sierra and Olandria and Taylor. And production knows, just like we know, and we've even heard the guys pretty much repeat what we've already been watching. Even though Olandria thinks they have a stronger connection, it's not really giving that for real, right? So who has the strongest connection would be Sierra and Nick. So are y'all setting Nick up to win Love Island USA? I feel like that's I don't really like that. Okay. But it is given, since y'all thought y'all was gonna play a game as far as the cast members or whatever, we gonna play one too. Producers got a game to play, and we gonna set up our person to potentially win the show, which is Nick, because y'all brought him back. And I feel like y'all brought him back to give him a chance, and so that Sierra doesn't spiral the hell out. But if y'all talking about we starting all over with brand new connections from the beginning, then if they got dropped, they just got dropped. Let them go, so we can see these fresh new connections for the next few weeks before the show is over, and see what's really going on. But y'all let me know. Y'all may love it though. Y'all may be Nicolandrians. Y'all may be like, yes, I'm loving this show. I really like Nick. I like Nick. I've been wanting them two to click up for the longest, and y'all might. I'm just telling you that I'm not. Okay, but you are completely entitled to what you support, okay, and what you like. Anywho, so Casa Morning over at Casa Amor, Elon is only focusing on him and not really bringing up Nick at all. Like, he knows she got her situation with Nick, but he like, I'm not mentioning that man. And I said I wouldn't. So then Shelly and Huda, they're still so sad, consoling each other. They're really hurt. Still crying over Olandria. So the Villa morning, Nick and Olandria woke them up. Okay, everybody waking up, and they pop up like, good morning, guys. And I just wanted it to be a bigger reaction. And it wasn't a that big of a reaction to me. But Taylor, literally, as everybody's piling on Nick, Taylor runs and jumps on top of the guys and passes right past Olandria and piles on the guys, because he really was happy to see his boo, Nick. Then he came over and he hugged Olandria. It was an uncomfortable hug too. So Taylor holding on to Nick, and Nick over there swinging him around. And I said, oh yeah, baby, his boo back in the villa, honey. Okay. Um, cringe fest. Anywho, so the girls asked Clark if she talks to Olandria, what would you say? And she says, well, I'll just be honest with her. And then one of the girls told her, well, I think you should just tell her the truth about, you kissing Taylor and all of that. And somebody says, well, I wouldn't want her to think that you're weaponizing it, though, because she said she was going to let her know, and just let her know that, hey, he initiated it. I didn't initiate it. He did. Which also makes me question just how into Taylor is Clark. Or is Clark just into him enough to want to be on the show until her person comes in? Okay. So that could be the case too, especially if he's the one that's always initiating the kiss. So that would be some funny stuff. If how Taylor was really showing up with Olandria, Clark showed up a little bit with him. Like, basically, Olandria was more into Taylor, Taylor being more into Clark than Clark is into Taylor. That would be interesting. So, anywho, she says that she wasn't expecting them. So, no, Olandria ends up walking in, and everybody's like, oh, hey, girl, hey, we're so glad that you're here. She's like, oh, for real? She's like, I wasn't expecting y'all to be so nice to me. You know what I'm saying? But especially knowing that y'all over here trying to get my man. Like, what? And I'm like, I need you to let go of those terms, my man. That's what I need you to detach yourself from, my man. because that's not what he is. So Nick tells the guys that he told Olandria everything, and Taylor says, "Well, damn, I gotta tell her everything," and he don't know how to have a convo, and he really don't want to have a convo. So Nick tells them the tea that Olandria told them about Chelley being with a guy named Chris that's like 6'7" or 6'5" or whatever it is, and basically Ace saying he don't give a damn about the guy's height or anything like that. That's what he says. And then Nick talks about Sierra being connected with a guy that kind of, I guess, favors him or whatever the case is. And so that's that. Nick also tells them about the text that they received and how he and Olandria are now in a couple. Okay. They had to return as a couple or leave single, right? Be single and be dumped from the island. Which one y'all want to do? So, anywho, they put the camera on Taylor once Nick told him that Nick and Olandria are a couple. And and Taylor looked like he wanted to bust out laughing. Whew, girl, this cast is a mess here. So, Chris pulls Chelley for a chat, and she says she's burnt out from crying, and he asks her what picks her up when she's burnt out from crying, and she says a good snack, a brownie, and some ice cream. I said, girl, I know that's right. But for the most part, they do have a pretty good chat. Nick and Olandria, after he chats with while he's over there chatting with Clark, they're just talking about whatever. Nick and Olandria are like across from them chatting, and she's asking about Taylor, and Nick tells her that Taylor is stressed. The one of the girls was Coco, but she's kind of off to the side. But then the main girl is Clark. Olandria says, "Oh, so she been putting in work," and Nick said, "No, no, 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 no. She's been putting in conversation. Okay, you was putting in work." I said, "Oh, and now see, listen." I'm with y'all. I'm with you there. I'm with you on that one, sir. I'm with you. Okay. You was definitely putting in work. Just a little piece, okay? Well, cause when a man really like you, you ain't gotta do all that. And you ain't got it don't take much. It don't take shit. Okay? If they really like you, it don't take too much. So yeah, Olandra agreed. She was like, yeah, doing dates and this and that. Like, yeah. You was a slow burn, but even after that, it still was a little piece of a struggle. So he asked her, what does she want from Nick at this time? And she says, I just want reassurance and truth. Okay. She wants to be reassured that he is still interested in her. I feel like I'm like, do you want him to say that to you, or do you want him to show that to you by his actions? Because the actions gonna be he could tell you whatever, and that's gonna get your feelings hurt. But watch his actions because they gonna show. Because he damn sure has been avoiding her. Okay. Taylor says he's going to keep moving how he's been moving when it comes to Clark. So she don't gotta worry about anything. Meanwhile, Olandria is checking them out and she's talking about how cute they look. And I'm like, well, girl, yeah, they're gonna be even cuter when she snatch them up for real, for real. So Olandria says that she won't dwell on Taylor, and she's gonna focus on the connection she has with Nick. And he asked her how she feels about him, and he says, "You know, I already told you that I was attracted to you." She's like, "No, you didn't. You never told me that. I never knew that." So they're chatting, and Nick wants to show her, the side that Sierra sees that she may not see. And Olandria says that she's gonna try her best to explore this new connection, but she's a little worried. She's a little nervous, because not only does she want to be all in on, she doesn't. Not only does she not want to, she just don't want to find herself in a situation where she's all in on Nick, knowing she really wants Taylor, and then also she has to worry about Sierra too. So she really is in a difficult situation. But I want her to just give it your all because, girl, you not being fully open to the connection is what ended up getting you dumped from the island the last time. Okay. So just explore it. Be open. Taylor ain't really thinking about you. Taylor gonna have his chats. He gonna pull her to the side. And since you've been there, he about to pull the girl to the side about 3 different times. When you look up, he's standing right next to her. That right there is an indicator. So you better experience this damn island. So Taylor is avoiding Olandria. Ace tells him to go talk to her and lock in. And Taylor like, I don't really want to. Like, she about to go eat. Like, do I got to do it right now? Like, let her chill out and let her finish eating. Nick tells him, listen, dog, she just wants she just want honesty. So just go to her and just tell her everything. That's it. So he finally pulls Olandria and he tells her about the good convo that he did have with Clark and how they did kiss that night. He tells her that it is something that he does want to explore. And she says that she thought that they were in a good place. But it was tough to get him out of her head when she was over in Casa. She says that she's glad he is taking in this experience and says Clark is a beautiful girl and the ball is really in his court. So she says that she really likes him and she's kind of like tearing up, trying to be strong. And she says she values him and wants to nurture the connection that they do have. And the tears, she's trying to catch the tears, right? And I'm like, girl, please don't cry and let nobody see you crying over this man. And be as strong now as you was over there in that villa, or in Casa Amor. So he says that he will continue to get to know both of them, and he's just gonna make sure that he's being transparent as possible. I do not believe Taylor. When he sat down later on, it wasn't fully giving that. It was something that was about it that I said, yeah, I don't think he gonna keep it a book with Olandria, but we shall see. Olandria says that her and Taylor have a better connection because they started off as friends first, and she has faith in them regardless. Does he have the same faith? Okay, because it's not looking like that. Taylor says that he isn't going to be just Team Clark and then not be Team Olandria. That's what he says. And Nick just lets him know, like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just interested in getting to know Olandria more. But I also feel like Taylor wouldn't mind if Nick took Olandria off his hands so that he can focus on Clark more. We'll see. So everybody gets a text, and they both will get. They both got text messages at the same time, and basically they're going to be sent certain tasks to do, and they have to follow it up with the kiss. And whoever has like the best kiss is what is going to win that particular. Not the overall challenge, but that questionnaire or whatever. So the first one was the person with the shortest name. The villa ended up winning because TJ had the shortest name with TJ, and yeah, so him and Vanna kissed it down. The oldest boy, the villa ended up winning, and I think the oldest boy ended up being Pepe. So him and old girl kissed it down. Casa Amor, it was Zach. I think Zach was the oldest guy. Him and Amaya ended up kissing. And did y'all notice how he tried to turn Amaya around? Like when she walked up to kiss, like she's facing him, he turned her around. So I'm like, what was you finna do? What kind of thing were you about to do? So then she's like, huh? So she turns back around, they kiss. It was like, Anywho, I was confused. Like, why are you pushing her to turn her around? Like, what kind of back action you? I don't know. So, anywho, the tallest person. Okay, so of course Chelley and Chris ended up kissing it down, and then I think Austin and old girl Jaden kissed over in the villa. Well, Casa Amor won, and I knew Casa Amor was going to win, even if Chelley and them would have just stood there and kissed and did the same kissing, and he didn't. You know how he got the girl on the tippy toes and she about to catch a cramp in her foot trying to kiss him because he won't pick her up. Yeah. um they would have still won because the goal was to be messy as hell towards Ace. So that's what they did. Boy with the longest hair, Sierra and Elon ended up kissing. Taylor had to kiss, and Olandria was cringing. So she was like hiding her eyes, covering her face, like she didn't want to see it or anything. And then Nick learns that the guy that has the longest hair over in Casa Amor is Elon. Yeah, so he was sick too. Especially when Casa Amor won. But let me tell y'all, Sierra and Elon did that. Whatever, when I feel like after they went, that's when the villa tried to turn up. That's when Huda tried to really compete and get in the game. Okay. So the couple with the shortest girl, Nick went crazy when it came to him and Olandria, as they always do. Huda took a page out of Sierra's book trying to crawl and lick all on the guy's chest and everything, but they didn't give her the point. And probably because Sierra already did that, and the villa ended up winning. So the couple who lives the closest, it was Brian and Andrina, so they kissed, and then it was Ace and Coco, but Casa Amor won. Did y'all catch how Ace and Coco had a special handshake? They was doing something, and I was like, what the fuck? Now, I don't know if I ever seen you and Chelley do a handshake together, and you over here with a special little handshake or whatever with Miss Coco. Is you cool? Ooh. So the next thing was a girl who lives in North Carolina kissed a guy from Cali. Huda was kissing on Chris, y'all. I don't care what nobody say. Not only was Huda kissing Chris for the challenge, but she also was kissing him to turn his damn head away from Chelley. Period. And that's exactly what happened because he got in that confessional. He said, damn, you on my radar now. I ain't never think about that, but now you on my radar. That's crazy. But okay. And you know what? Shelly about gonna go back to Ace either way, so might as well get to know the damn man. So Clark and Ace kissed, so that was theirs. So everyone, it was time for everybody to kiss your current partner. I felt like the villa was kissing their partners and other folks' partners. I feel like they was trying to have like an orgy or something. Like everybody was, I just feel like it was all over the place. But anywho, um, Ace over there trying to hype people up, running around saying stuff. Get in the game, get in the game. What are you doing? Keep kissing, more tongue, more tongue. Okay, just crazy. So Austin over there complaining about knees being in his back and stuff because they trying to stand on folks' back and kiss and all this extra stuff. And I'm like, nah, that's what y'all get because y'all wanted Ace to be y'all captain. Got y'all out there looking like fools. Okay, yeah, go complain to Ace about that back. So, anywho, Casa Amor ended up winning the whole game for the most part, I do believe. So that's that. Taylor and Clark go off to the side, and Taylor takes his little shirt off and lay it down so she could sit down on it. I said, "Damn, did he ever? Did he ever do that for Olandria?" Right? He asked her how she feels about Olandria being there. She said she feel good. She said she needs to talk to her because she does respect her. But other than that, ain't nothing changed for her. So he tells her that he is taking it hard. And she was like, really? He said, yeah. He says that, I told her that I'm gonna explore both of y'all or whatever. And she told me that she was happy for me. And he says that he still plans to explore her, meaning Clark, and hope it goes somewhere. And then tells her he's happy he broke up with Olandria, exploring their connection. So I'm a little confused because he said, I'm happy we broke up. So I'm like, are you talking about when the producers broke y'all up as a whole? Because how you're making this conversation sound to me, it kind of comes off a bit as though you're saying the conversation that y'all had earlier that day, you kind of broke it off with her in an effort to focus on Clark. So I don't know. Maybe he's talking about happy they broke up because the producers broke them up or whatever. I guess so. All right. Anywho, Nick and Olandria, so they're in soul ties and they're chatting, and he talks about how he likes her personality and how it intrigues him, and she makes him a little nervous when he's around her and stuff. And Nick is really, really feeling Olandria, but I also feel like who does Nick not like? Whenever Nick is presented with the opportunity to be with another woman, he wholeheartedly explores that. And when they want to kiss outside of challenges, he's going to do all of that. And he's done it before. So for Sierra to be over there on reserve is crazy to me. Right? So Olandria, in my opinion, she's still holding back just a bit. And I hate that for her too. Because I don't know. I think her getting dumped, because y'all know she says she don't really move like that, right? But I also don't think, one, she was attracted to Zach. But then two, I think getting dumped from the island made her be like, I mean, let me at least try to go all in. And then Nick is somebody that I'm more familiar with than the other guy. So let me see what this could potentially be in hell. It ain't getting no better because Taylor locked in with somebody else. And I want her to just fully explore this process. But at the same time, Nick, again, to me, is not to be trusted. I don't care what nobody say. I don't give a damn about a Nick Landry or any of that. I just don't think he is to be trusted. I think Nick gives me horny young man. Any woman that comes into the villa that he can fill up, rub up, kiss up, touch up on, he's going to do that. Any one of them that shows interest his way. So I'm really not even buying the fact that he feels like there's some really deep connection or strong connection there for him on Olandria. Like, I don't believe it. So anywho, Elon talks with Sierra, and he wants to kiss her outside of the challenge, and she's on reserve because her mind is all over the place and she doesn't want to move too fast, is what she says. Next thing you know, Nick tells Olandria, so while you're doing that, while you're reserving yourself, Sierra, Nick over there telling Olandria he trying to see what he do outside the challenge too. Okay, and she says, well, it's only one way to find out. So they lean in and they give it a kiss, and it was given real passionate, okay? Now I'm just telling you what it is. And she just like, Nick, Nick, Nicky, 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 Nick, Nack, Patty, Whack. Okay, and she says that she's going to miss calling him Nicky Poo because now they're in a coupling, not just a friendship. And he said, yeah, so it's just giving Nick for now, hollering. Okay, and she laughing because it made her feel some type of flutters or something down there when she was over there kissing on Nick in the soul ties. She probably could have took it there. right? So we'll see. I don't know. I'm not feeling this. I do not like this. Another lackluster. I think they thought this spin was going to be the spin that we needed. And maybe it is for a great amount of people. Maybe a lot of people really like this, right? Maybe a lot of people are here for this. Maybe I'm just one of the outliers that's like, miss me with it. Not interested. What else is going on? Okay. Just because we want to see it, I get why you may want to put them together, but we wanted to see that weeks ago. Weeks of go. Okay. My thing is, I would much rather, and I would hope a lot of us would much rather see Olandria with somebody that wants to be with her. And she had the opportunity when it was with Jalen. So if y'all send somebody else in, hopefully she and that person is on the same page, because it's definitely not going to be Taylor. Unless Clark really does something that's going to be extremely off putting for him, I just don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening at all. Okay. But y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down about it down below. Girl, that's all I got. Hopefully it's a better episode tomorrow night. We shall see. I'm not feeling this year's Casa Amor. I don't know how many times I can say it. Oh, it's some about this season is just not hitting like the past ones. But leave your thoughts and comments down below. I'm Jamie, that's me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATL, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up, I got laser focus, about to take it over, I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man, they say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film.